Hello, and welcome to another episode of Untraditionally Traditional, a podcast with me, Brittany Duncan, a millennial homemaker. Join me each week as I share all the things I've learned that make keeping your home, garden, and life running smoothly, all while working. If you are enjoying the podcast, please be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcasting app so you get the episodes downloaded straight to you every Monday. Now, on to today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Untraditionally Traditional, a millennial homemaker. I hope that y'all had a fantastic holiday season and New Year's. Can y'all believe that we are already a week into 2025? I tell you, time is flying. But today I want to talk about de-decorating, organizing, and storing your holiday decorations. If you're like me, you're probably getting a little antsy to declutter your home. Just like setting up Christmas decorations, there are many schools of thought for when it's appropriate to remove decorations. There are the religious considerations. 12th night marks the end of the Christmas season by Christian tradition. There's Candlemas, which is 40 days after Christmas. Or, of course, there's non-religious dates that vary throughout January. I wager that most people remove their decorations within the first 2 weeks of January, if not for any other reason that their tree is bone dry. But I do want to highlight what 12th night is, just for those of you that don't know. So it marks the 12th and final night of the Christmas season, coming out of Epiphany. Contrary to popular belief, Christmas is not just December 25th. And in the Middle Ages, Christmas was a time of continuous feasting and merriment that went all the way till 12th night, and that was the end of the Christmas celebration season. So that part of the tradition, I feel like after Christmas, we do tend to kind of go through New Year's, and then I feel like our celebrating comes to an end. The New Year hits and everyone is back to work and working on their New Year's resolutions full swing. But a lot of people still will keep their decorations up until 12th night, which, depending on how you factor it, it's typically January 5th or 6th. So this episode is going to come out on January 6th, which some believe is 12th night. So maybe you are de-decorating today. Maybe you're listening to this while you're de-decorating. I don't know. But for the Christian listeners out there that may not know the significance behind 12th night, that's what that's all about. So, anywho, our schedule typically varies. We do try to do it on or around 12th night, but sometimes we've been traveling, or other times it's just like the way my brain works. I'm like, I gotta get some clarity in our house and de-decorate. So I want us to plan for a smooth de-decorating process, and that can start before you actually start boxing everything up. So if you don't plan to de-decorate for another week or two, no worries, because you can get started. First is to clear out what you didn't use or what is broken. In our tubs, we have some ornaments that are not favorites, and they honestly rarely ever make it out of our holiday box. I'm sure you have the same. You might have some garlands that have seen a better day. Maybe you have string lights that no longer work, yet for some reason are still taking up real estate in your holiday decoration box. My first step, and what I encourage you to do, is go through what is left in your holiday decoration boxes while all of your decorations are still up, and decide if there's anything you can donate, or in the case of broken lights, recycle through your city. Things that should really just be thrown away, let them go. There's no point in keeping decorations that you haven't put out in years, right? Let them go. Next is ask yourself if there's anything you wish you had this year but didn't. Personally, we could have used more ornament hangers. The time to realize that you need something for decorating or gift wrapping is not when you're in the middle of it. So take stock of how much tape, paper, gift bags, ornament hangers, and other holiday items that you might need more of, and go get them now. Most stores have significant discounts on holiday decor and gift wrap. So if you know that you'll need it next year, go get it now. Put it with your gift wrap or with your holiday decoration so that you are going to be prepared next year. When you go to hang your ornament on the tree, you're not going to go, oh shoot, we don't have enough ornament hangers, and be like me where you're just trying to make it work and quite frankly probably risking that ornament falling off the tree. Now let's tackle de-decorating that tree. If you have an artificial tree, this process is probably slightly easier, but for those of us that love a real tree, you probably don't love the mountain of needles it drops when you're de-decorating. To combat this, my first step is to remove any furniture, rugs, the tree skirt, any miscellaneous items that are around the tree. You could put a drop cloth down to try and catch some of those needles as you're removing the ornaments. But personally, I just let all the needles drop onto the floor. I take all the ornaments off, the lights, I take the tree out, and then I sweep them all into a pile and I vacuum it once. I will say, if you have a floor vent near your tree, I do like to take some newspaper or paper, cover that vent. I seal it down with masking or painter's tape while I'm dealing with the tree, because you don't want a bunch of needles falling into your vent through the grate. Even if you flip the grate closed, they're going to get in there and it's just a pain to clean out. So that is one thing I do try to make sure is covered and sealed so that I don't have to deal with that. Then we remove the ornaments, and now is a great time to add those ornament hangers to any that are missing one, so that next year you can simply pluck them out of the box and put them on the tree. We purchased an ornament storage box off of Amazon a few years back, and I love it. It was pretty cheap. It has cardboard dividers that you can adjust to be bigger or smaller, and I feel that it keeps our ornaments safe and secure, and it's also amazing how many ornaments you can fit into this small box. I'll put a link in the show notes for the one we have. Of course, you can use a big tub and a bunch of wrapping to make sure that everything is safe, but I do like with this ornament storage box that there is a flat piece of cardboard that goes between each level, so the ornaments that are on the bottom don't have as much weight on them. So if you have fragile glass ornaments, highly recommend these boxes. Let's talk about lights. Make sure that all of the bulbs are lit up and replace any that are not. And instead of gathering up your lights into a ball and shoving them into the box to be a tangled mess next year, I don't know what happens with lights, I swear. You could put them in the most organized fashion, and inevitably when you go to pull them out of there, they will be a tangled mess. So use a light spool to wrap them. You can buy these, but you can also make them by cutting a strip of thick cardboard. Chances are you have a lot of extra boxes kicking around right now. Cut a strip of thick cardboard, form it into a loop, and then use packing tape to secure it so that it's a circle, and then wrap your ornaments, or not your ornaments, your lights, wrap your lights around it, and then use 2 pieces of painter or masking tape to secure that light string onto the loop so it doesn't fall off. And that way next year you can just pull out one of those loops, the light spool, and just unwrap it, and you're going to have individual strings of lights that are not tangled. Once everything is off your tree, you can take it outside and place it into your city compost bin, or check with your city on their preference for disposal. Every location's a little bit different. Some want it in a bin, some want it just on the sidewalk. Some places you probably have to take it to a landfill for disposal. But typically there are great ways to get rid of your tree for free, but usually dates that go with that. So check with your city early so you know how to get rid of your tree. If you have items like fresh garland, these may not be compostable because often they have a lot of wire in them to keep all of the branches together. So again, be sure to follow your city's disposal guidelines for trees, wreaths, garland, all that kind of fresh Christmas decorations that you may have had. If you're like us, decorations are not just on the tree, but Christmas throws up all over our house. I like to go all out. So when I am putting things away, I like to go category by category. I'll wash all tablecloths, pillow covers, linens, holiday ones that I'm not going to use again until the holiday season rolls around. I dry them, I iron them, and then I like to store them in a big Ziploc bag, either with a dryer sheet or my personal favorite, fresh lavender. If you live in Boise, I encourage you to check out the lavender sachet kits from Vista Farms. They smell super great. To you, lavender may not be a holiday scent, but it just keeps them fresh. There's nothing worse than when you're unpacking your linens and they just have that stale smell because they've been in this box for probably 11 months and haven't been touched, and they've been in your attic. So this is how I keep them fresh so that when I'm taking them out, they smell good. Our Christmas village, which is a new addition to our holiday decor, passed on to us from my mom. I like to get that dusted and wiped down with a damp cloth so that everything's nice and clean. Again, I remove the lights that go into each little house, and I store them on a homemade spool, which again is packed with the boxes, but I like to pack everything else like with like. Little trees all go together. Little gates all go together. Non-breakable people and animals, those go together. And then each building is packed away in its special box that it came in for ultimate protection. So some things that are really fragile, you might want to keep the box for and put it back in its box. Yes, it takes up more storage space, but you know it's really protected. And then other things you can put together, such as little pipe cleaner trees and that kind of thing that aren't that fragile. Anything that has a battery, you're going to want to take the batteries out of, because if they corrode, you're going to ruin the device. But if you take those batteries out, that way you don't have to worry that they're going to go bad. You can keep batteries in the freezer, and so you could put them in a Ziploc bag and label what those batteries are for, but don't leave batteries in the devices that you have. I know some lights are battery operated or toys or whatever you have. Best to take those batteries out. I like to use the big black and yellow tubs. You've probably seen them at your hardware store or Costco to store the majority of our holiday decor. They are great for things like ribbons and bows that we place on chairs, wooden Santas, stockings, that kind of thing. Stuff that's not really breakable. The lights will go in there too for the tree on those spools. It's just a really great way to keep all Christmas stuff together in a couple big tubs rather than having a million smaller boxes that we have to pull down from the attic. Our front door decorations, I do leave out throughout winter, and then I store those when I change our doorscape to spring in March or whenever the weather starts to turn. So don't feel like you have to completely de-decorate unless that's what you want to do. For us, that pretty much wraps up our decorations, except for Christmas cards. I do keep the ones that my immediate family members send in a memory box, but my mom does the cutest thing with all of her cards that I want to share with y'all. Each year, she takes a photo of the card, and then she updates her contact photos in her phone for the individuals who sent her the card. And this way, she's making the card last. She has a current idea when someone calls her or she texts them. Because that photo's there, she has a current idea of what they look like, and it's her way to make their Christmas card last while letting the physical copy go. If you're keeping all those things and you're just putting them in a box and you're not really looking at them, you're just storing things that you don't really need. So I love this idea of a way to, appreciate the effort that they put into their card, but not have it to take up space in your home. Most of our Christmas decorations we store in the attic, but you need to be careful about what you store in your attic if you live in an extreme weather zone. Dry rot's a thing, humidity is a thing, all sorts of issues can happen there. So the best thing to do is find a place where your decorations can all be together, out of the way until next year. For us, we keep most of our holiday stuff together through the seasons. And so on the bottom of the pile, our Christmas decorations are being put away there under fall and summer and spring. And then when we use our spring decor, that's going to go to the bottom of the pile and summer and so on. So it just helps us have everything in one spot and out of the way until we need to use it. I hope that you found this episode helpful and that you de-decorate in a way that makes decorating next year a breeze. Remember, the effort that we put in now is going to make our lives easier in the future. Remember to let go of what you don't love to make space for what you do. And until next week, happy homemaking, everyone.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Untraditionally Traditional. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with those special people who would love it too, and write a review. For more tips and photos of my home and garden, follow Untraditionally Traditional Pod on Instagram. Until next week, let's continue to make our homes places of joy and service to ourselves and those we share them with.